My ident is a very technical convention of any film, so it was a must-have for me because one, to get the grade, and two, to make my film look as realistic as possible, because I wanted my film to have the feel of an indie film that you could watch on the internet or anything like that. It's a very British indie film that consists of many British conventions. So in the start you can see my character breaking the fourth wall, which is a very British thing to do, and I've been inspired to do that by some of the comics that I read and some of the other films such as Watchmen and stuff like that that I've watched, and I wanted to incorporate that idea into my film because I believe it gives it a different aspect and it just helps the film interact with the audience, which is what I want. I wanted my audience to feel a part of my film. The exposition of my character from speaking from future tense in the start is a recent occurrence in many films. So there's films such as Wolf on Wall Street where it's happening. It's a very artistic thing to do because you've got to be able to picture where your film's going to end up and word it perfectly without giving too much away. And I really wanted to do this because it's just different. It's a lot different than what you see on a day-to-day basis of films. I have completely developed the fact that the titles that I have used had to keep the same font all the way through, obviously to keep continuity, but it's the font that I used for my ident as well, because I like that font. It's futuristic, it's a development on the aspect of text. It's not just a text, it's got body to it. If you put a different text on my film, it probably wouldn't look the same because it wouldn't be as futuristic, it wouldn't be as strange. I spent ages trying to find that text, and after I found it I realised it was the perfect one to use. And as soon as I'm working by myself, I didn't have anyone to argue with to make decisions. So I know in the terms of the real media you'd have directors, producers, outside companies that want to have an input to the film, but with me just working by myself, I developed all the ideas using storyboards, and from there my ideas just spread and changed, and that's how I wanted it to be. That's how I wanted my media final piece to look, just because the way I envisioned it is a lot different to how it came out, yes, but the way it's been developed throughout using the audience survey, so different people's ideas and incorporating other little things that I've seen, just makes my film the film that it is now, and I'm proud of it. The social group that my media product is aimed at is 15 to 21-year-olds. Things such as SurveyMonkey have allowed me to really tune into that audience and that social group. I understand that as a social group, teenagers aren't really portrayed the best by media. So I wanted to put a twist on that negative portrayal of teenage people, of the social group of teenagers. So things like the foreshadowing at the beginning makes people question what he actually does and what happens for that character, which I think will make people want to watch on. And it puts us in the same place as the social group I'm representing, because at the age of 17, how are they going to know what they want to do in life? So putting the audience in the same place of not knowing was an important feature for me. It was something that was mentioned from the start. So I'm glad that I really incorporated that idea from SurveyMonkey. So thank you to whoever gave me that idea, much appreciated. Also, referring to the target audience, number of participants were aged 15 to 21. So because I'm trying to represent their social group, I wanted to hear their ideas. So using SurveyMonkey, their ideas were given to me and I was able to add them into my film. so I can represent the social group of my age well. So I've got the scruffy clothes on, the apathetic look that most teenagers share, and just the general gist of it is how I would act on a day-to-day basis. So therefore I believe that I am representing the social group as well as I can. The new music helps. That is music that was added in at the end because I was using a certain track that didn't really fit in, and I found this electronic music, and that works really well with the product, and most people find it really catchy in my social group and my friends because I've played it outside of the media. So when people are listening to it, they really want to hear it again. So that led me to believe that when people are watching my video during that time, people will remember it, remember the song, really enjoy it really, because that's the main thing. When I'm trying to represent a social group, I want that social group to feel represented and to be proud to be represented by me. So everything I've done, I've tried to do for a good reason and not as media would tend to make teenagers be represented as bad. So yeah, thank you for your ideas, and I've tried to incorporate and represent you guys as much as possible through my film. Thank you. As my film is quite an indie film, I believe institutions such as Film 4, E4 would be very happy to back and distribute my product because they do a lot with the young and up-and-coming producers and directors, and they are very much willing to back the type of indie film that I have done. They have a wide range of tastes and aspects that they want to try out, same as me as a director. So with my opening, I believe that they would maybe advertise, turn it into a short film, maybe not a full feature length. However, that is always a start for me, so Film 4 is definitely a good institution to aim my media product at. However, if I was going to go big, I would tend to choose Warner Brothers, as even though many indie producers have gone up through the ranks, Warner Brothers always seem to help them through it. So for the advertising, they could help by placing it in between big shows. Being able to pay for advertising on big TV channels is a good way to distribute my media product, as it's the way that most media products are distributed. So during primetime telly, advertisements would be displayed, billboards on buses, because a lot of school children get on buses, and if they're going to see it on the side of a billboard, it generates interest, which is what I want to do with my media product, which I think studios like Warner Brothers would be happy to do. However, if I was going to distribute it in the UK, I think I would have to go through simply just E4 and Film 4, because not everyone in the British film industry wants to back an indie film. It's not something that people tend to do because they want to make money in the industry. So I would definitely have to go through Film 4 because they would back me and they would help, and their ideas would refine my media product and allow me to go big with it and just put it in a place where studios such as Warner Brothers would be interested to watch it. And that's something I'm really interested in researching, because Film 4 with their Indie Film Festival would be a great place to display the film. You've got so many different studios there. It's a great way to distribute your ideas, and your name is a thing that you need to get distributed, because everyone has their own style of editing, which I hope you can see through my opening, and it only fits to certain brackets. So mine would fit into Warner Brothers, Legendary Films, but things like Disney Pixar wouldn't back my film, which I'm fine about, because Warner Brothers, Legendary and Film 4 would help distribute my film. So to take a step forwards to them, it would have to start with Film 4, maybe making a short film, putting it in their indie film festival, then getting it displayed during primetime telly for Film 4. They often play the films that they have made on Channel 4 or E4 just during bridges of shows, and then I would go up through the ranks, so it would go Channel 4, Warner Brothers, and then Legendary probably, if I wanted to create maybe a sequel or something. But to distribute this product, I would definitely stick with Channel 4 and their indie film project, because they are looking for producers like me that don't have a big name in the industry to create films and put their name out as well. So they'd be happy to back me as much as I'd be happy to be part of their team. So yeah, Film 4 would be my choice of distribution, and I think they would choose to distribute me too. Simply because they're indie film, they're taste in film, so I've watched many of their other indie films. They're Slackers Club, that is a club for up-and-coming film producers, that films get displayed in picture houses such as the one in Hebden Bridge, and for many people to go and watch. And it's a great idea to get small-time producers portrayed on big screens, and I think Film 4 is the way forward for indie producers such as myself. The particular social group that I aimed my media product at was people my age, so from 15 to 21-year-olds, because I believe that I can tune myself into them and give them what they want. I wanted to add an aspect of comedy to my opening. It might not be portrayed very well, but it's the right type of comedy. You don't want in your face, just there to be funny comedy. You want little undertones just to boost people's interest when watching your opening. So the music that I chose is very popular between people my age, and not many people have heard the band, but when I've played it to them, they've enjoyed it, it's got into their head, it's very catchy, which is very important to me, because people, if they like the song when they're watching my opening, they might remember my opening because of the song, and that'll snap in their brain and make them realise that from what they've watched, they like the song, they like the video, etc, etc. So I just wanted to make sure that everything in my video was friendly towards my audience, to my target audience, hence why I used quite an individual band, fairly new, very new style, so singing over the electronics type of music. It's very new to me to listen to that type of music as well, so the editing when that music was on was it was new to me as well, so listening to that music really got me into the mood of editing. So that music I hope gets people into the mood of watching, supposedly. Referring to the target audience survey we conducted, a number of participants of the audience were my age, so all the ideas they've put in, I've tried to incorporate, I've tried to use. Many people suggested things such as the titles from Zombieland, stuff like that, so interactive titles. I've got a few interactive titles into my opening, and this is all because of the audience research from people aged 15 to 21. So I'd like to thank them for helping me, but I'd like to let them know that it's aimed specifically at you guys, so when you're watching it, if you can pick out your little features that you've added in there, then you might feel like part of the production team. So the film is based on me as a character, so I know how to act as if I am my age, obviously. So the wardrobe, the stuff like that was completely stuff that I usually wear on a day-to-day basis. So that gave me the ability to just step into my own shoes and walk around as if it was me, just pretending to be on a normal day. And I think that gave me the ability to really step into the character's role, because he's a bored teenage boy, bored of being in a lesson all the time. So yeah, it's just perfect for me to step into that role. The audience can be can feel part of that role, because it's something that I'm sure they're not unfamiliar with, and to aim it at that target audience that is my age was something close to me, and I wanted to do that because not enough films are aimed at promoting our age of teenagers. They demote them, they don't really portray them as good people. So although my opening scene may cause a bit of confusion, if it was a full film it would show a lot more than that, and it would give teenagers a good name for once, unlike most media. So I really wanted to aim it at people our age so that they could just enjoy it, watch it, and just like it, really, because the main thing with a media product is if people like it, they buy it, and that's important when you're trying to become a producer or a director. So to think about the target audience was a very, very important task for me, because without getting the target audience right, I wouldn't have got my film right. It could have been aimed at people older, younger. It'd be a completely different consistency. It wouldn't be the same. It would be different music, different editing style, different pace. So yeah, the target audience was very important to me, and it was very important that I asked people what they wanted. So the things like SurveyMonkey really helped a lot, because it allowed us to sort of interact with the audience. Even if there were people older or younger answering the questions, we could still take their ideas on board and maybe spread the target audience out a bit. So I had people from the ages of 19 to 21 answering my questions, and they said an undertone of comedy. So I put an undertone of comedy, and instead of putting a broad, just wow in your face comedy, it is there somewhere if you can find it. So yeah, the target audience is very important to me, and I really do hope I've reached their expectations. Thank you. The use of SurveyMonkey allowed me to address and attract my audience. So the ideas that they have given me have been incorporated into my film, and I've had people ages 12 to 52 answering the survey, and I know that I have a specific target audience, but to be able to widen your brackets and probably put more in your margins is a very main aspect of media. To be able to make something that everyone can watch is better to make something that a specific group can watch. So by the attraction of my audience using SurveyMonkey, they generated a real interest in my product, and for them to stay interested I had to keep their ideas in it, and that wasn't a problem for me. I really wanted to use their ideas because they are the audience and they're who will be paying for my film. So with their ideas, the things such as the titles, the music matching the pace of the film, these are really important ideas that I myself, working in my own group, couldn't come up with. So with their help I've managed to attract and address them. Also, in terms of addressing my audience, I have given them an ability to have a outside view on my film by the foreshadowing and the breaking of the fourth wall. So as me as a character speaking to the audience really gives them a feel of being in the film, a part of the film, which is very important for a good media product to incorporate. If I didn't do that, then I don't think I'd be in the same bracket for pleasing my target audience and just the general audience as I would. So instead of just refining my search and my product to the target audience, I've tried to generalise some things, and I know not generalising isn't good always, but in terms of media you want the whole public to watch, you don't just want a small group to watch. So I've tried to broaden it, I've made it a bit more friendly with the music, the ideas have been refined a lot. There was going to be an original scene where I was in a classroom, but not everyone can relate to that, so that got scrapped. The walking shows the passing of time, which I believe everyone has been either bored with the passing of time or how it's going. So that is something that people can relate to, which I'm proud of, because I'm proud of my media product, and the ideas that people have given me have made me 10 times more enthusiastic about what I've done, because I know I'm on the right tracks with them. I'm not just doing something I like, I'm doing something they like as well. So being able to address my audience is a really important factor for me, because they're the audience and they want to watch it, they'll be paying for the product, they are who makes your name in the media world. So the use of SurveyMonkey really allowed me to do that. Simply going out and asking people what they think in my media group. Yeah, what do you think of this bit? What do you think of so-and-so? What do you think of this bit? That allowed me to change and refine, fine-tune things. I've had friends that go to Leeds Art College, watch my product and give me an artistic view of what I could do, which is really important to me. Yeah, so that's where I feel that I've addressed my target audience. Thank you. During the construction of this product, I have learned many technologies such as blogging using WordPress, which is very important because the examiners must read how we are doing and how we've updated it throughout time. So every day we would update the blog, and this is something that is featured in main media products such as Legendary. They update their blog daily, and it's very important to learn how to do this in terms of media, because it's a wide range of social media and stuff like that. Also, things such as research using SurveyMonkey, that is a prime example of primary research. So we asked a few questions and the audience gave us back what they thought and what they thought we needed to hear, which is really important for us to hear. I'm really glad that they did that, and I'm really glad that I've learned how to do that. Also, using programs such as After Effects and Premiere Pro, the precise element of these programs is really hard to learn by yourself. Without Mr. Middleton's help, we wouldn't know how to do anything, and our openings wouldn't look as they are today. So I'm really glad I've learned how to use that, because in terms of media and the media world, that is a constant evolving product, and to be able to use it is an amazing thing, and I'm really glad that we've been able to learn how to use that technology. Also, for the music and the sound effects, we had to find those, so we've used things like Freesound and Free Music Archive. So to be able to actually find things that are allowed to be used, things that aren't copyrighted, stuff like that, that's really important, because otherwise our media product will be completely illegal probably. So I'm glad that we worked out how to use that properly. Also, just the general camera. We've got some HD cameras that can be quite confusing at times. So to do things such as trombone shots and things like that, we've had to spend ages learning how to use the camera, and also learning how to use the tripods themselves, because they're very specific pieces of kit. You have to use them, but you want to be able to do pan shots without it getting creaky. You want to be able to just use it to do sort of balanced point of view shots whilst walking, so we can use the tripod to even out that weight distribution. Stuff like that has been really important for me to learn during this opening. During this media final piece, it's just helped me so much throughout to learn every time as we go out with the cameras to help the film look as it is now. Has been a really important thing. So thanks to Mr. Middleton, he's really helped us learn in class how to do it and then how to apply it out of class, and I'm very thankful for that. So also things such as the effects, the secondary effects that you can buy, so the flaming letters, things like that, to create your idents, they are difficult pieces of kit to use, and I'm glad that we had Mr. Middleton next to us to show us how to use separate technologies with Premiere Pro, because without that I wouldn't be able to put some of the effects that I've used, some of the titles that I've used, and yeah, it just wouldn't look the same really. Looking back at my preliminary task, I felt that I've learned a lot during the progression of this task, because at the start I'd not really done opening of a film, so there's a lot of conventions that I needed to learn and apply. So the title conventions, how they appear, what order they appear in, the music that can be used and how it fits the genre of things, just the editing style. I didn't realise that there was an editing style for each convention. So the fast-paced editing, the slow-paced editing, what this means, the black and white, what that means, the colour effects, things like that, really do fine-tune your opening. So to be able to do that to my opening makes me feel that I've learned a lot in the progression of this preliminary task. Also, just the general use of the camera. The camera is a difficult thing to master. There's so many different ways you can use it, and it gives people different styles. So I'm really glad that I have learned how to use it from Mr. Middleton, and also imparted a bit of my personal taste onto the camera. So the use of the tripod to balance out the handheld shots was a really good idea from both me and Mr. Middleton. I'm really glad I did that, because even though I didn't use some of the handheld shots, when they were filmed, it made them look a lot better. And the idea is to get more shots than less. So I didn't know that. So when I've made media products in the past, they've not been as well filmed as this one, because I've had a lot of shots to choose from, which is very important in terms of this media product. Also, the way that media technologies converge and work together. So SurveyMonkey working with Premiere Pro, not directly, but me being able to make it work together. Then there's the blogging that we've had to do, and I mean, it might have seemed a bit of a annoying thing to do at the start, but I can completely see why it's there, so we ourselves can look back and see where we are at. And it's just been a learning curve really, because there's so many different types of media and so many different ways you can learn media. And so the social media has really affected the physical filming of media for me, and I didn't know something like that could happen. The audience really got involved with these products, and I'm really happy for that, because without them it wouldn't be what it is today. And it's just a massive leap towards my AS level that I've took within my stride, and I'm happy that people have been there with me to do it, as I've been working on my own group. So the editing, the filming, the blogging, I've all had to do by myself, but I've learned how to time things out properly. And so Mondays I'd be filming, Wednesdays I'd be editing, Friday I'd be blogging. That's a really good way to set things out. So using things like the research that I've done into logs, so logging what you do and when you're going to do it really helps set out your time. I've just learned so much from doing this one preliminary task that I wouldn't have learned elsewhere, and I wouldn't have learned in other places. So I've learned so much in the progression of this preliminary task, and yeah, I really wanted to aim my product at people my age, but I learned that you can't just do that. You have to, if you want to make money in the media world, you've got to aim it at a wider audience. You've got to aim it so everyone can watch it. It's just little features like that that you don't understand that why they're there, but they do have to be there, and it's completely makes sense to me now why we do the stuff we do in media. Thank you.